Tableau, I'll go with a very simple way. Okay, so let's discuss what is Tableau is. So Tableau is a visualization tool. Okay, and what is the requirement of Tableau? So first of all, let's understand what is the requirement of Tableau, why Tableau is required. So basically, every organization has some issue with the data. Okay, so they have lot of data sets. Okay, which basically being uh, it's basically everyone has it. Okay, so you have a lot of data sets in all of the organization. Okay, and now they need something which basically analyze over it. Okay, so that is why Tableau is required, so that Tableau works at the top of the data. So all the data which is residing in different data warehouses or different files, they it sits over top of the particular data set, so that it reads the data and then creates different reports so that you can analyze the different insights from the particular data sets. Okay, that is basically the objective of Tableau. Now Tableau was launched in almost 2005. Okay, and now it has been almost 15 years. It is being sold to Salesforce. Okay, you understand it is one of the major deal which has happened recently in visualization sector. So Tableau is one of the most promising tool, which right now even you see the Gartner. Okay, because of two reasons. One is the capability. The capability is very high, and the vision of the particular tool is very at a different level right now, and they were able to execute it. That is why even for let's say 4 5 years, you will find the Tableau at a very good level where you can invest and try to develop the career at least in the visualization area in using this tool. So this is one of the good tools which basically you can select if you want to develop your career in the visualization area, specifically reporting area. Okay, and then from there you can start your career. Okay, how difficult it is, this is not difficult, it is basically more of a conceptual stuff. Okay, the Tableau was developed to get the replacement of a Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel was developed, and then later on, Tableau was introduced so that with a vision that okay, everyone can able to analyze the data, okay, using Tableau, so that they don't require any others any other stuff for their analysis. Okay, they don't require any other Microsoft Excel kind of thing for their visualization. Okay, so that is basically the high level stuff of the Tableau. Before starting with the Tableau desktop, okay, let me just show you what are the different products of the Tableau. Okay, so if you go over to Tableau website, okay, uh, if you go over here, first of all, you can see the when you click over this, you will have a Tableau desktop, Tableau prep, Tableau server, Tableau online. Okay, so I'll just take few moments and then explain you what is Tableau desktop, what is Tableau prep, Tableau server, Tableau online, and the other products of the Tableau. So let me just explain you in a simple way. Okay, so basically you require something to do a development of a Tableau. Okay, so let's see, you require something. So let's say I have a data. Okay, so let's say I have a data. Okay, and now I have to develop reports. Okay, using Tableau. So you have this Tableau desktop software. Okay, which basically works over this directly. So I have a Tableau desktop, and then I have a desktop which basically runs over the data, and data could be anything. It could be Excel, it could be SQL Server, it could be any JSON file, like anything. Okay, now this Tableau Desktop, which basically we can see here, is basically used where you can create, which basically connects to the data and it shows this kind of report. Now once this report is developed, okay, uh, how we can share with your friends or your team members. So there are different ways of sharing it. Okay, so one way is that we share it through a publishing over the web. So we publish this report over the web, okay, so that it is accessible for everyone through web. So basically I publish this report over the web and everyone can log into their reports, okay, through internet, and they can view the report, and that is basically been done using Tableau server. So objective of Tableau server is basically to make reports available through the web. Now after that you have Tableau Reader. So why Tableau Reader is required? So let's say I have friends and family which basically don't require these kinds of reports to get access through web. Okay, they want to see the reports. If let's say if I can share the file, okay, the Tableau developed file, and I just want to share the file, and they open it there. A very old way, let's say you share an Excel file, okay, you don't publish over a web, you just share the Excel file and every people can open it. Now that particular thing can be done by using a Tableau Reader. Okay, now how Tableau Reader and Tableau Desktop is different. So Tableau Desktop is basically a license tool. Okay, while license tool is basically you require license to run it. It is used for only development. Okay, so basically you can see the nitty-gritty of everything. Like you see, you can change the report. Okay, but Tableau Reader is basically is used only to read and show the report. It can't, it is a open source. Okay, it is basically open source means it is a free tool. Okay, you don't require license for this thing, where the Tableau web server is basically also a licensed tool and it is for a web interface. Okay, so it is also a very expensive license tool. Okay, now you have Tableau server, you have Tableau Reader. Okay, now we have an option that, okay, we can directly link the data to the desktop, or we can think of something which basically that we need to prepare a data. Okay, which basically we can talk about if we know that we have a ETL phase and all those stuff, like you clean the data through a ETL process like that and all. So you know that there are different processes we can do. So in that section you have a Tableau basically prep. So basically Tableau prep is basically first reads the data, okay, and then it provides you to the Tableau desktop. Okay, so that is the basically objective of Tableau prep. So this is also a license tool. Okay, and then you can use it for your analysis. Okay, so basically you do your all the ETL form. Only thing is that how this is not a proper ETL form, because it provides data only for Tableau. Okay, so it does all the transformation, but data it's basically provides only for tab. Okay, the main is basically to prepare the data for Tableau. Okay, now you have Tableau server, Tableau Reader. Beside this also you have few more things. Okay, and that basically you can make your report accessible through a Tableau mobile. Okay, so you can publish, you need to publish it over the web first. Okay, so if I say it need to be published over the web, and then only it can be view over the mobile. Okay, you have all the both kind of mobile set data, that it can be used directly through server, it can be used directly through basically once the data is published over the report is published over the web, it is accessible through the mobile. Okay, now this is the basic all the product basically catalog which basically Tableau has. I have explained you. The reason I have explained to many people will still who has worked for a few more years are confused what is basically objective of Tableau server, what is reader, what is this and all. So they know about it end to end. Okay. So how you you can make sure that now you by looking into this so you know that okay I have to work on Tableau desktop. So basically if I see at the bottom that okay you have to work on Tableau desktop, this is the thing which basically we will work. Okay, and this is the place basically desktop is the point which basically gets all the development requirements, all the job requirements related to Tableau is basically for the Tableau desktop. Okay, then Tableau server is another thing which basically you should know, so that if you know Tableau server it gives an edge to your profile that okay how the different admin related things I know about the Tableau server, but it is of no use if you don't know Tableau desktop. Okay, so there are two things which basically you can know. Okay, so this is the one thing which basically I wanted to brief everyone that this is how you can say that the catalog which basically of Tableau. Okay, now let's discuss something about the Tableau desktop. Okay, so how we can install the Tableau desktop. So when you go this to this website, okay, you can go here and click over the Tableau desktop. You can go here and try it now. Okay, yes, Mr. Radhakrishnan, you have some point. You can drop that point, okay, over the chat, or you can jump in. If anyone has any query, they just directly drop the message over the chat window. Okay, it will help. Okay, so now going to you can go here how to install how to install the Tableau. So now you can go and open this. You will see start your 14-day trial. Okay, so you have 14-day trial. Okay, using this user ID. Okay, after 14 days, what we can do? So there are different ways to get the license. One is like you can get a student license. Many people don't know about that. You can drop an email to Tableau and with your user ID they give you 1 year license. Okay, and they give you 1 year license to make sure that you can use it for 1 year for a educational purpose. Okay, so what is required is only the ID of your friend or family who is still studying. Okay, any of the technology that is not important, like they can study anything, they can from any background. Okay, you see student or teacher. Okay, get a 1 year license. Now here you can click over this, it will download the setup. Okay, so let's say I download free trial, I just say something. You can write anything. Okay, you can write any email, it will download the setup. Okay, once the setup is download, you just need to click over it and press next. Okay, and it will get installed and you will get one Tableau icon. Okay, let me just open that particular icon for you. You can see let me just you can see the Tableau icon which you can see it here. Okay, this kind of icon you will see in your desktop. Okay, so when you click over this kind of icon, this will open, which is basically a Tableau desktop report. Okay, I can this is the report already prepared, but I can click over it and create a new blank report for all of our analysis. Okay, sometimes what happened that it will ask you for your update. Why? Maybe you have an older version of Tableau and Tableau is basically launching a new version every month, you can say. So right now, when I see here how I can check which version I am having, I can go to the help, okay, click over it, and you say it is right now 2018.1.4. Okay, what is the latest version of Tableau? It is 2019.2.3. Okay, so it doesn't matter, you will have something more. Okay, every month the new versions which you are getting is basically of a additional view, but there is all only the small bug fixes and all those stuff. Okay, so you can work on any of the latest versions, that does not matter. Okay, now this is the Tableau window, okay, which basically I was talking about, that this is how the Tableau looks like. Okay, the first look of the Tableau. So now we will discuss, let's discuss with one by one each of the points, okay, so that how you can do it. At the end of the session, you will get one presentation, okay, which will comprise everything, okay, which versions using for software organization. Okay, so see, this is every software organization is using a different versions. Okay, so you have to understand how it happens. So whenever the users, like anyone, gets the particular, let's say I am a company, I got the Tableau, I to get introduced to Tableau and it got 10.5. Okay, 10.5 means it was launched in 2018 early. Okay, so by 2018 early, and now you have almost 10 versions. Okay, so it is very difficult for everyone to get upgrade it very frequently. Okay, for our organization point of view. So what organization does, organizations always keep one level version below to the current version run. So let's say it's right now it is it's basically running or upgrading 2019.2.3. You can see. So what I'll do as an organization, I'll make myself comfortable with 2019.1. Okay. Or if there's a very big fix which basically happened in the recent version, which basically working as a showstopper for me in my current version, then only I will upgrade and move to recent version. Now, uh, answering your question, people are using the latest version. People always use the latest version. Why? Let's say 19 right now will be used for everyone. Okay. Now, what is the difference between 19 or 18? There is no much difference. Okay, in the 19 or 18. But yeah, there's a very big difference in 10 version with 19 version or 18 version, because there was a main uh, architectural change happened, okay, at server level and desktop level in recent versions, okay, in 18 and 19. Okay, so I hope I have answered your question, because it depends on the organization when they want to upgrade and all. But if you as an organization got the version, let's say 18, okay, and you got the maintenance AMC, okay, you are automatically liable to upgrade the Tableau software. So then you can decide as per your plan when you can upgrade it. Okay. Now this is my window. Okay. You see the first window. I'll divide it in a very simple way. That on the left hand side you will have all the files. Okay, which need to be basically selected. So these all are the files which basically need to be selected. This is all the server, which basically the data servers. Let's say I have a SQL server, I have a Oracle, I have a basically Redshift, Postgres, like data residing in a database. Okay, that is one thing. I hope everyone understand the database, but still I'll just take one moment and explain you what kind of basically data is basically being used. So now let's discuss. So let's say you have one data sets like this, okay, which basically is basically like Excel, like JSON file, XML file. I have one data set like this, okay. Or there's a sets like basically these only data sets, or let's say I have a different kind of application, okay. Let's say, for example, this is one of the retail industry. Okay, retail means like Reckitt Benckiser, like RB, which manufactures Harpic, Dettol, uh, or you can say Hershey's, which basically develop lot of chocolates, syrups, and all those type like that. So let's say this is one of the consumer good, CPG industry data. Okay, so you have a Excel data sets, JSON data set. Data set can be anything, right? You have a budget data in Excel. You can lot of data coming from in Excel text files. Another data sets is basically something which basically gets stored in a database. So database is nothing but a software which basically stores the data inside it. Okay, now that basically stores the data inside it is basically in a form of tabular form, in a form of tables. Okay, you have a lot of tables where it is. So now this database server, you have different types of database like SQL server, right? You have Oracle, you have Postgres, MySQL. Like that, you have a lot of database servers. Okay, and now let's say these are different data sets which are available. Okay, now Tableau has divided it. Okay, all the files which are basically in the forms of files is basically combined together, clubbed together, so that everyone who knows that okay, I have to look over the file, just click over here and then you can see so many files which are available here. You can see so many files are available. Okay, so you can see JSON file, spatial file, tab delimited file, statistical file, Adobe portable file, text file, character file, local file, Excel workbooks, Microsoft Access database. Then you have Tableau workbook .tbw, DWB. You have Tableau package workbook TWBX, Tableau data source .tds, Tableau package data source TDSS, a data extracts .hyper .ded, Excel workbooks, right? And others, because there are so many files which basically you can click and access. Okay, now this is when basically about the data servers. So you have a different data servers like uh, SQL Server, Amazon, IBM DB2, Cognito, like that. So when you click over this, you'll get the list of so many things, right? You have analytics, Google Analytics, BigQuery, Google Cloud, like that. You have so many data sets coming from for this particular set. So do you need to learn everything? No. You just need to understand that these Excel files are basically require the path. So as a Tableau consultant, you just need the path of the data set. Okay. But in case of these particular servers or data servers, what are the things you require? Basically the connection string. And what connection is string is basically means connection string is basically you have a DB name, database server name, database name, its user ID, its password, and sometimes you just need to mention the port. Okay, if you are providing these kind of details, okay, and let's say for example Microsoft SQL Server, we'll just see. Okay, so you will able to log into the particular database reference. Okay, so let's say I have this data set, right? And then if I go here sign in, let's say I gave the SQL Server ID. Okay, I gave the user ID and password. Okay, you can see this is my database. When I click over the adventure works, this is one of the database. This is I have now entered into the database server. So I have see these are the different databases tables. I can see all the list of the tables here. Let's say I select one of the table, let's say employee human resource. Okay, so I can see that particular database table is in my data source. Okay, I can view this data. Okay, some issue with this particular, and then I can see the information here. Okay. So I can see the information here. Okay, this is why the information available in my particular report. So this is how simple it is that you can create your data set and you can pull it into the tab. Okay, so this is how this particular create a data source in Tableau Desktop. Okay, so now let's go start with another details. Okay, so again going back to the data source. Okay, so you have these two things. You can go and click over this icon also to get the same window what we were seeing here. Okay, so this is just an icon which basically switch over this reporting window and the home page. Okay, just to make sure that you understand. Now if I am here, I can again go to the data source connection. Okay, I can give the credentials. When I give the credentials, I get the data source, something like this. Okay, now I am showing you this window which basically I get. Okay, so now you can see all the tables are available. Now we will discuss one by one from left to right what are the different things are there in this particular uh, data source. Okay, data source is what? Basically, Tableau needs data, okay, to do any visualization. Now, how this data is going to come into the Tableau? It is going to come into the Tableau through the data source. Now, data source can be of any type. It could be of any type we have seen. Okay, it could have of Excel file. It could be of a database. Okay. Now, mostly in the organizations, your reporting depends on a data sources like SQL Server, where you have a database, and sometimes you may require ad hoc requests like your budgets are your sale information is following in the your sales information is following in the tables, but you require the budget data which is coming in the Excel file, right? So like that you have a multiple kind of data sources used for a single reporting. Now why I'm explaining you this scenario, so that you can see how different way you can use the Tableau. Okay, so first of all, this is a file option. Okay, when you go here, you can see you have an option to create a new file. You can open a file, you can close the file. By closing means you can unsave the file. But now here you have option to save the file. Okay, so if I do a save here, I can directly do here a option here, demo, to save the file. This is the first thing which we have to do. Okay, now when you go here and see, you see there are two options of saving the file. One is like TWB and one is TWBX. Okay, I'll explain you later, but you just see that there are two kinds of file. Okay, now once you save this file, it's a Tableau workbook file. Now all the Tableau files like you have a XLX, Tableau work file is basically saved into the .twb file. Now if I go here data, which is basically my database, which is basically, you see there are option like refresh data source, duplicate data source, paste as a collection, paste as a data source, close data source, edit data source filter. There are so many things. Okay, and then you have this data source connection name where you can see and click the data connection. Okay, what basically it is all about. So first of all, you see the connection. This is the place from where the data is coming. Okay, so let's say this is my database server name, my detail of the database and the credentials. So all the connection string is basically you can see in this particular this window. Okay, so if I get the here, Mhm. Yeah. So if I can see here, this is the portion which basically is a data source correction. Okay. So my data source collection is this portion, which basically first thing which basically required that you define your connection here. Okay, you define your connection here so that everyone can understand from where the my data is coming. So this is very important. Okay, so you understand. Okay, this is my data from where all my data sets is coming. Then once you have this particular connection, okay, you see the list of the databases showing here. So you see the list of the databases which are coming and showing it here. Okay, so you see the adventure works demo like that. So many databases are available. Okay, so you get the list of all the databases which is under the database server. Now you select the required database. Now then you will have a list of the whole tables. Now you should understand which table is required for your reporting. Okay, so as a business analyst, there are few things which basically you need to know before you start your work. Okay, so the first thing is that you should know that okay, what are the things are required. Okay, what are the things are required to create any particular report. So how you will do that? You first analyze the reporting requirement. So for example, let's say this is my one page which I want to show, and it says that okay, your country is obese, yes or no, your county is obese, yes or no. Okay, so now by looking into this kind of analysis, let's say this they have given you this output in a normal A4 sheet paper. And this is how I want to see the report. Now you will first think, okay, I understand this requirement that you want to show country obese level, county obese level. So can you give me some more details? So where is my data? The first question comes up, where is your data? So you will ask, okay, my data is in my database, where is basically in Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, through. Now in Microsoft SQL Server where? Okay, so you just need to know, understand where exactly the data is there. So they will say, oh, okay, this is the table name and this is the connection string. So now you got the particular table name. Let's say if I go into details, it says that okay, this is my data set. Okay, and this is my, let's say, one extract file which is basically having this particular data. Okay, now you will ask them, okay, this is my data. So you can see this is my data preview. Okay, in Tableau you can preview your data like this. Okay, when you connect to your data source, so you see, okay, obesity level, county level, this data. You don't require Tableau to analyze this. Okay, as a normal analyst, you can analyze in a normal Excel, or you can review in a database that okay, this data is at what level. So by looking into this, I can say that this is a county level, different kind of data. It is not only obese, it is diabetic also, poverty also, physically inactive also, food security, insecurity also. There are 4 5 KPIs which are shown, and for that the information is available at a level of county. Okay, and I can also have a state and region level data. That is good. I know now my data. Now I can go in my report and try to analyze that particular obesity information at a county level. Then this kind of visualizations comes up. So, okay, you want to see this visualization, or you can also could have done the similar kind of like, let's say I have only county. Okay, and I want to show the county as a tabular form, right? And I just want to show obesity, right? Like this. I could have shown the information like this also, right? So that doesn't matter. But first you just understand that okay, this is my data, this is my data set, this is my data points, and now these are being used in my report. So this is one process which basically if you follow for all your requirements and all your visualization, then it will help you in doing it in a structured manner, so that people even in front of you will understand that okay, you have an experience on how you work on a reporting solutions. Okay, so first level is to understand that data. It is not like that anyone can give any data and you can analyze anything. Okay, so this is the one thing which basically I wanted to make sure that everyone understands. Now let's say I have this data set. Okay, why I have done employee? Because I want to analyze the employee level information. Okay, can so now this is my adventure works. We understood that this is a database. Now these are different tables. So can I use more than one tables to my analyze? Yes, you can use more than one tables for your analysis. So let's say I did employee. Okay, I want to also analyze the history of the payment. So basically what I want to do, I want to analyze the uh, employee history of the payment and how they are related. They are related through a relation key. Now you have to analyze and do the three things of a joining of the two tables. Now the joining of the data set, what you mean by that? So let's say I have a data, okay, which basically talks about employee ID. Okay, so let's say I have a data, and this is my one table, which is basically employee ID, employee master, and I have employee ID and employee ID name. Okay, let's say I give one example, 1 2, let's say A B. Okay, I have this kind of table, and I have employee salary table where I have employee ID, employee month and salary. So basically for each employee, I have this, data. Okay, so basically I have each employee name, and if I have employee ID, salary and all. Now I can analyze these two table together, because see, this table does not say what is the name of employee. It just says y id 1 or 2, but I can't say which user has given had took which how much salary. So then I need to join these two tables together based on the employee id, right? This is how we do a relationship between the two tables. So now it's a, like you can say, it could be one homework or all. You need to understand the joins. There are three kind of joins: inner join, left outer join, right outer join. Okay, okay, there are three kinds of, and you can say full outer join. Okay, there are four kind of join. You just need to understand. Okay, I'll try to explain you, but first of all, you just understand what joins is. So in order to relate these two tables together, you join it. Join means it is just a, not a it's just a relationship. Okay, you don't physically join them together. It's like you can analyze them together by using their relation key. So I have employee id here, I have employee id here, so I can join based on this employee id. So for each of the records where you have employee name, okay, I will have A here, okay, let's say post joining, and B here, okay, which is basically employee name. So basically I can have this kind of analysis post joining, okay, like this, okay, which basically through query I can analyze this. Now if, let's say, I have only uh, let's say I have also a 3C, okay, and I have this on the left hand side of my query, and right on this on the right hand side of the query, and I do a left outer join. It means that I will have all the records for A and B and C also, okay, with information only for A and B and nothing for C. Okay, basically I will have all the records from the left side of my query of join, and only the common records from the right of side of join. If I make a right outer join, I will have all the records from the right outer join, but but only the common one, okay, from the left table. And when full is means is basically you will have all the records from the left and right together. Okay, so this is basically one basic concept of the join which I wanted to explain. So that is the same thing is available here, that you understand inner join when you want to see only the common records in the common table. Now I have this employee pay history and all. I just click over this, okay, and I have this kind of analysis. Now we understand this is my joining. Now similarly, let's say you don't have to do this kind of, you have multiple stuffs, multiple tables. You can write a SQL query here, okay, and you can write your query, let's say select star from your table name, whatever the table name is there, and you can preview the result, okay, and press OK. So then you, when you do something like this, you don't require to do this UI form. You can directly use the query to pull the report from a query. Okay, that is the one way of doing it. Now another way of doing it, like you do union. Okay, what do you mean union? Why I am writing these concepts, so that you understand. You just need to go through it because it's a database concepts, but sometimes we don't brush it together. So you have a union. What union means, that let's say I have these other, let's say three this is one table A, okay, this is table A, okay, and now the same kind of data is available in table B. Let's say they are for a different organization, okay, and they are having the different data, let's say 3 3 4 4, okay. Now you can union A and B, like A union B, you can do that, okay. And when you do A union B, this all data sets comes together and show you a single report. Union means you append one data below another data, okay. So this is the purpose of union, okay. So when you do union, you just ask you, okay, define the tables, you just drag the tables here and you can apply the union, okay. What is the requirement for union? Union is can only done when you have same number columns in column A, table A, and column B, table B. So the number of columns in the both tables should be same, first condition, and second condition is the data type of the column should be also same. So it should not be like in column A is employee ID, which is a number, and it is replaced with a date here, okay. It should be same number of columns and same kind of data types. So then only union will work. Now you have talked about all these things. You can also bring your stored procedures in your report. So basically it could be a table, it could be a view, and it could be any stored procedure, which basically you can call in your Tableau data source, okay, from a database. Now I'll explain more on the next steps. So now when you have an employee ID, employee payment history, you just click over this. You can define your join like this, so that you can join this analysis. Now there are two options. You can rename it, okay. You can make sure that you can just say employee payment data, right? Now once you've done this, you can directly go here, and I'm getting this error again because there's something corrupt has happened, okay, in data. So that is why I'm getting, you will never get this kind of error, okay. Now this connection could be a live and could be extract. Now what it means by live and extract? So live means that data is coming directly from the database, okay. And let me just explain you by a simple example, okay, that let me just save it as two. Yeah. So now let me give you a simple example what live means and what basically extract means. So let's say I have a data, okay, which is basically raw data, would be anything. Also, I'm not writing again and again for what kind of data is there, or what. It could be any data, okay. Now this is my raw data which is there, okay. Now what happens, that this data is basically read it by Tableau, right? Okay, so you have a basically Tableau data source, right, which basically we are seeing here. And then this Tableau data source, basically data which is read by Tableau, is shows in a Tableau reports, right? So you have these Tableau reports, or you have this particular data, right? Now in case of live, okay, this is for the live connections. So this is for the live connection, that this data is basically read by Tableau report directly from the database. Okay, so let's say if there is a change in this particular data set, okay, and let's say this is something which basically happened, that there is a change in the data, automatically it will reflect in the report. Okay, so this means that whenever you refresh the report or you just see the data in your report and you just refresh the page, it will send the request. Okay, it will send the request to the database live. Okay, it will not, it will just send the request to the database, and that particular data set comes up and shows in the report. So basically it's a live interface which basically has happened. Okay, so whenever I refresh here in the report, automatically what is there in my table, if I update the data in the table, automatically it will show in my reports. This means a live connection. Okay, connects directly to your data, right? But what do you mean by extract? So let's say tomorrow I have a scenario, okay, in the similar kind of scenario I have, okay, and now I want to see my data get refreshed, let's say every month, every day once. Okay, so let's say in the night I have a data get refreshed. Okay, and once data get refreshed, I'll create an extract, okay, of data at scheduled time for my reporting. And this is done where? This is done at the same place where you are doing the data source. Okay, so this is right now a normal live connection. Okay, and this is right now we are talking about the extract. Data is there. Okay, and now it creates an extract of data at a scheduled time for reporting. This extract is also known as a data snapshot, and then the same data snapshot is basically used for the reporting for the Tableau reports. So what happens that this Tableau reports will show the data as per that extract which is there. Okay, so let's say my extract does not refresh every day. So what will I will see? I will see the last updated data excuse me, in my extract. Okay, so now this extracts get refreshed every day. So whole day you will get only the snapshot of the data as per in the extract. B, the data gets updated in the database. Okay, so let's say your data gets updated in the database at, let's say, at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, but your refresh is extracts at the 12 o'clock in the morning. So as the extract is created at 12 o'clock in the morning, your data gets updated at 1 o'clock in the morning, your reporting will be going to show the data based on the extract. Okay, so it is not going to show the recent data, it will be going to show the data of the extract. Okay, the time of the extract, how the data was there. So that is the basic two fundamental difference from the live connection and extract. The another thing is that the extract makes your report fast. Why? Because the now this process is avoided. So whenever the Tableau reads the data, it just reads the extract, okay, and show it at the reporting layer. But when the Tableau reads the data in the live connection, it first goes to the database at the end of the level, read the data, then come back again. So there are some time delay in the database because it waits for the database to return the output. Okay, so that is why live connection is a little bit slower than extract. So if there are now two things, one is basically why extract is basically referred in a issue, in a scenario, where you require snapshot of the data, right? When you want to snapshot of the data and do the analysis. Another thing is like you want to improve the speed of reporting, right? These are the two major reasons which basically are required for the extract. Okay. Now going to the another scenario. Okay. Now once you do the extract, while let's say what will happen if you have a even the extract will take time, right, to create that. So let's say I have two scenarios. I have a extract to create every 5 minutes. Okay, and extract is taking time, which will basically add a process, right? So every 5 minutes, if I have to create this schedule, okay, based on this, which is schedule reporting, which you mentioned, it does not make sense, right? That every 5 minutes you are running a process to extract the file. Then you will recommend have a live connection, boss. Why you are not using a live connection? If you are seeing the 5 minutes, you just see every time, right? The second thing is that I have a data which is very big, having a tons of data. Let's say you have a terabyte data or a GB data. Now that extract is having also have a good size of the data. Okay, so now in that kind of scenario, it does not make sense that your Tableau report first creates, let's say, 1 GB or 5 GB extract and use that for your reporting, because even for 1 GB file or 2 GB file, it requires time to traverse the records. Then it is as good that it is working directly on the live connection. Okay, so then we will recommend go for the live connection. And these kind of analysis where you have the 1 GB or 2 GB extract is basically for the big data kind of scenarios where you have a big data. So then it comes up with another technology. That big data technology is something which basically you can query the data when you have a lot of data sets. So then also it is developed to have a these big data technologies like Hadoop, Hive are developed in such a way so that you can do a live query and you can get the live query instantly, result instantly. So in that case, you should use live connections. There are two things where you have to use this live connection. One, you want to see the live analysis, right? Okay. Second thing is that extract lot of data. Okay, lot of data set, large data set basically. Okay, and extract query will not going to much beneficial. Okay, so these are two reasons where you can use the live connection. So now I think I explained the all details about this small stuffs. Okay, so what basically you can analyze right now in last 1 hour of the training, that we have to understand each one of the stuffs conceptually. Okay, so that tomorrow if someone asks you, you should be able to answer it in a right way. Okay, we will not rush for the training that okay why we are not creating a report right now, because we just need to make the fundamental rights. But after a 2 hour session today and tomorrow, definitely we are going to create few more reports. Okay, but I this is the one of the most important part of the Tableau. Okay, which basically need to be understand very well. Many people which I have seen in last so many years, they have experience of 2 3 years, but they get confused when I ask a little small questions or tweak a question in such a way, and they just get confused. Okay, so just wanted to make sure, okay, that you all understand it rightly. Okay, so now this extract, when you click this extract, what happens? The Tableau creates a file which basically we will see. Okay, but before that we'll just see this option. So you see this option which you can see in my mouse, that edit and refresh, okay, is appearing only for extract. When I do live, it does not show anything. When I do extract, it shows this. Okay, now what this extract does is basically it can gives you a additional features to limit your extract data. So basically this is a extract filter, and when you click edit, these all are basically fields where you want to limit your data of the extract. So let's say I want to only filter for gender male, I want to see only the male data, so I just put a extract and put a filter here for the male. Okay, this is one of the kind. So what will happen, my all extract will be created only for male, so only the data is getting decreased, so my extract will be much faster. Now what are the other things? I have a number of rows. Okay, so you can see there is an incremental refresh. What do you mean by incremental refresh? So let's say I have, let me go to another sheet. Okay, let me, I have, let's say 100 records coming in my data sets, in my table. Okay, that every day my sale data is coming and I am getting 100 records today. Okay, so I have a data till 30th of August, okay, till morning. Let's say at 9 o'clock I have a refresh of data. So now at 9 o'clock it will refresh the only new data set. It will not look for the old data till 30th August. It will look for 31 of August. So what happens that there, this option where you can identify new records only using column. You have a date or ID. There could be two ways to identify the sequence of the record. One is like date, that you can see, okay, date field. So let's say I have 30th, 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January. So I can use the date field and I can make sure that, okay, first time refresh everything, right? And then incrementally you see the date. So once the new date data comes, you will just pull only new date data. So you have an incremental refresh only for the current date data, it will refresh. Another way of doing is that you go with a ID. You have some column ID, let's say row ID. Okay, and then you see that, okay, with the row ID you read one by one and you can add it there, so that you have the analysis, right? That is the another way of doing it, right? So there are two ways to do the incremental refresh. So otherwise you refresh all the data extract directly. Now this is like top 100 sample record. Like you can have only any kind of records for your extract. History shows how much time, how many times the extract has been created. Okay, and hide and used columns we'll discuss later. It is just to remove or hide the columns which are not used by the report. Okay, now I just refresh this. Okay, and now I have the extract ready. Now what is this section? Okay, now this is something additional. So this is for only extract. Now if I want to, if I created any extract, okay, and now I want to further add any filter at a data source level. Okay, so let the extract is just a file, okay, which can be used multiple ways. For example, you can see in this regional obesity, right? This is just an extract, right? If I go here, edit connection, you will find that there are .hyper files are being used. So this extract file which physically extracts, okay, can be used by multiple people. Now if that extract is used, right, I can further add a filter here to further filter the extract. So let's say I can have a scenario where I want to create an extract only for male guys, right? But I want my report only for this particular state. Let's say I want to run it only for Alaska. Okay, so I can add this filter here and I can add a particular what I could say, let's say for this organization level, right? And I can select that particular organization, what organization I want to do, and then select that information and run that. So this filter is at a data source level. Okay, so if I go for a pictorial representation, a very simple way, that this is my extract filter. Okay, and this is my data source filter. Okay, so data source filters works at a higher level on the extract. Okay, and extract is basically the unit of it. Now Once you create the extract and all, you just need to save the button. When you do a save, it will say, okay, to save the work, you must either create an area and create an extract or use live cache. Now, this is the one thing which I want to do. I want to create an extract, right? So now, let's say I'm creating an extract and you can see it shows me dot hyper, okay? There are dot .td also is one of the kind of extract. Dot .td extract was used in 10.5 or earlier, okay? And in all the new versions, it is coming as dot hyper. So you people would be using dot hyper everywhere, okay, but dot td you should be aware, okay, because it's a older version extract file. And how dot td and dot hyper are different? They are same, only the technology has evolved, okay. It is just something like you have a xls and you have a xls, okay. Dot hyper is a patent technology of Tableau which says that, okay, extract can be faster created and can be easily read. Okay, that is one technology which Tableau was working on and it got patented last year. Okay, now in .tde we have .hyper. Okay, so now we have two kind of files. Okay, one which basically we discussed .twb. Okay, we discussed .tde. We discussed .hyper. Okay, we understand that .tde and .hyper is the extract file, and we understand that TWB is a Tableau workbook file. So file which you see right now is basically a TWB file. Okay. Now this extract is created and now I go to my sheet. Okay. Now I create my extract. Very good. Okay. And it gives me some issue. So I think there is some issue here where I create the extract. Let me just again create extract. Yes, I'm this having some bug here. So let me just show this particular report here. Okay, so you have this extract, right? You can also create. I think here also I will get the same issue if not. Oh yeah, it's good. So there is something problem with that particular report. You can see when you do an extract. When I go here, click on the extract. Okay, you see the icon changes. Okay, it icon shows the two cylinders, and this is a single cylinder. By looking into this, you can identify that, okay, this is the extract and this is a live connection. Okay, now this is how your data is now available. You can right click here and again go to the data source. You can refresh it here. If you have a change in the data or anything is like, you can view your data, okay, by right clicking it and viewing the data. And I click over this, I can see all the records which are available here. Okay, analyze it. Okay, which are the records are there. The another thing is you can rename your data source. Okay, which all the things you can do by going into data source. You can duplicate the data source. Okay, you want a copy to be created of the data source and use it with a different name or whatever the objective is. You can duplicate it. Okay, the close means you are closing the data source. That, okay, when I do a close, see, it gives an option that, okay, sheets that you use as a primary data source will be deleted. So let's say this is my one of the sheet obesity map which is using the data source will be deleted if I am going to close that. Okay, so now I don't want to do that. Okay, but I'm just showing that, okay, this data source will be deleted and all the corresponding sheets where it is used as a main data source will be used. There is one term came, primary data source. We will discuss this thing in detail when we will discuss the data blending. Now you have this extract data, which basically you have seen that I didn't went inside and do the extract. I can directly go and right click and extract the data. Okay, you can use extract. You can now you have extract is created. Now from here only you can refresh your extract. That you can click here and then refresh your extract, so automatically the extract will get refreshed, and you can view the report, or you can view the latest one. You can add the data from a file. Okay, you can remove the extract. You can see the history of the extract. So let's say I right now created one extract, so it just says that, okay, this is my full refresh. If it is an incremental, it could have seen that there is an incremental extract has happened. Okay, Now, what are the different data source filters? You see that, okay, this is are the data source filter which are done at a data source level. You can view that. So basically, what are the options you are seeing there inside the data source settings? You are seeing most of them here itself, repeating here. But let me just explain everything. So replace data source is what? Replace data sources that right now you have so many reports created, okay, using obesity. Okay, now tomorrow you come up with another data which basically let's say recent data. Now you don't have to create all the sheets again. You can right click here on the old one, replace with the new one, and press refresh. Okay. Once you've done that, if the structure is same, column names are same, it will very seamlessly remove the old one with the new data source, and you will get the new all the old reports link pointing to the new data source. Okay. Mm, I hope everyone understands that you have a old data source. Okay. You have a one old data source, right? Which is of this color, and let's say I have another data source which is of this color. Okay, I have all my reports which basically all my Tableau reports right now pointing to this particular. This is my old data source, this is my new data source, this is my Tableau sheets. Okay, so let's say it is pointing to the old one right now. Okay, now when I do a replace, what happens that old is old is basically it got replaced. Okay, it basically removed, it got replaced, and you will not see the old, it will be pointing again to the new one. Okay, so this is how it happens that from the old connection, the old connection is got break. Okay, and then you will point it to the new one. So you, as per the sheets, does not going to change anything. It's just the thing of the old is being replaced with the new. Okay, so only thing is required that your column name should be same so that your reports don't get invalid. Okay, so that is the one thing which is there. Okay, now you have a date properties. What date properties there? Say, let's say you have a multiple date columns. Okay, there are few functions in Tableau like week, start date, and all those stuff. So let's say in some places the fiscal year, which basically the year starts from January. Many places the fiscal year starts from April, like in India, right? So you can change this thing in as per your requirement that my fiscal, if you have a business data and you want to analyze based on fiscal year, you can change your settings here. You can change your date format that okay, my all dates should be in this format, and you can change your week start date also, like your week start is in which. So this is a setting which you can do at a data source level. Then you have edit analysis. Okay, you can you can change your basically major names analysis. So basically you what these are the different column what analysis are. First of all, let's discuss what analysis are. So analysis are basically a different name given to the columns. Okay, so let's say I have some column. Let's say adult obesity percentage of pop, which I just want to call adult obesity. Okay, I want to make it simple. Okay, so what happens when I change this thing? Okay, so you see, if I go here, okay, and let's say I put it here. uh And so basically, let's for example, simple example. Let's say I have Adams. Okay, I analyze it and make it something else. Okay, let's say I say something like this. So I am just changing the name of the particular value, but at the data level, it is still Adams. So you can see at the data level, it is still Adams, but only for the viewing purpose, it is having a different name. Okay, so that is the way you can change your license. So you can change the name of your columns, you can change the name of the values. So you can do this aliases here by changing the name of particular column, particular major name, and all those stuff. Now publish to the server. What we mean by publish to the server? So let's say we discuss one concept, okay, and this is very important concept which basically we use in the organization level. In a practical scenario only you will not see many of the training covering these topics, okay. So what you mean by publish to the server is basically requires that you publish your data to the Tableau server. Okay, so when you publish it here, it will be publishing it at a Tableau server, so that if let's say I have 100 of reports, it's basically going to use the same data set obesity. So for each report, if I am going to use the same data set again and again and keeping it extract, I will have 100 reports refreshing every day, right? For the obesity. So I have 100 data sources which basically pointing to the same table obesity and running again and again unnecessary. So if I publish the data source at a server and use all the 99 new reports or all the 100 reports using the this published data source, what will happen? If I refresh that particular data source at the server, automatically 100 reports get the latest data. So I am just avoiding the refresh process of 100 reports by just replacing it with a single data source available over the web. So that is objective is basically achieved by publishing the data source over the server. So when you do that, you just need to connect to your particular whatever the ID is required. Okay, you do and publish it there, and then you can take the data from the data sets. Okay, this is the one thing which basically is there. Now when you go here and click it, you can see add to save data source. So what do you mean by add to save data source? You see there are different data source which is available here also. That save data source. Why they are available? But when you click over this, what will happen? It will automatically uses that data source, keep the connection string, everything, and just create add it to your report. You don't have to go and do the edit connection, everything, and all those stuff. So let's say right now I click and here add it to the add data source. So what will happen? It will save this thing to .tds. Okay, .tableau data source. Okay, obesity.tds. Okay, it's a data source connection and save it there. Okay, and now when you go here, you will find there is one data source added obesity, right? So now next time when you are going to use this report, you can easily go and add this data source in your report. So why we use this? Let's say I have a few data sources being used multiple times, right? So then you keep adding this thing as a saved data source so that every time you can use it and then you can report in your reporting. Okay. So this is the one thing which basically very clearly used. Now export data to CSV. You can export your data to CSV, right? So that you can analyze in Excel, okay, what kind of data is there. Now another thing is properties. In the properties you can see, okay, what kind of table, what is my path, what is my extract type and all. The same thing if you go in this particular database also, which is a SQL server, you can see that, okay, this is my database, this is my server name, all the connection string basically you can see it here. Okay, so this is the few steps. You can see all the stuffs are all the uses or everything is basically the same. Only difference is the now the second section, which is dimensions and measures. Okay, so now we will discuss about dimensions and measures. Okay, and we will try to cover understand what kind of different dimension measures we can do. Let me again use this demo file, okay, where you have this particular data set because it's more cleaner. Basically not cleaner means when it's more of a fresh and nothing has been done here, so that I can show you how it has been, we can use it properly. Okay, so now you can see once I connect two tables, I have two different table icons, employee and employee payment history. Similarly, in measures also employee and payment history, right? So you can see the section on the left hand side divided into three parts. One is data, one is dimension, one is measures.
Very simply, you can see, okay, all the dimensions are available, all the measures are available. This is very good. Now, these dimensions which you see here, okay, are of a different types. You see all these data sets is of a different data dimension types. You can see these when I click on this icon, okay, you see there are options. How this is determined first of all. So Tableau have a very intelligence feature that it automatically understands which data is of which basically data type. Okay, by using its own capability by reading the data from the table also, by taking the structure details also, so that it understand what kind of data you are doing. But it try to understands also, even you are using an Excel sheet where you don't define any data type, it basically reads and understand, okay, this is date, this is alphabetical number, or this is a integer number. But you also have a provision that you can change these features by yourself. Let's say this date I don't want to use as date, I want to use a string. I can keep it as string and it will be string like this. Okay, if I understand, okay, now tomorrow I want to use it by date, I can change my data type over here. This is the one step. Okay, now here also you can see these are just now a normal stuff, like you can make a string also. When I make a string, you see there is one more thing added, right? Geographical role. So what geographical role means? That this field is basically a type of a geography. For example, let's say state. Okay, so if I have state column, if I use state as a state province, okay, what happens? You see there is the airport area code, US CBSC CBSA area, right? Cognition district, some for only US and other for Europe, and rest are for general. So you have city, county, country, zip, postal code. This is for all the data available, right? So now you have this geographical role for state, okay, and you have this data coming for the state, okay, and now when you do this geographical role, you see the icon changes to this particular globe, okay, and now if I do here this particular analysis, you see automatically it creates a map, because Tableau now knows that this is one of the geographically. So you may be interested in latitude or longitude, okay? And you don't see that lat long created here, okay? The lat long is basically generated only when you create a geographical thing, okay? So basically Tableau has a repository, a map dictionary, which basically creates this particular map, okay? And link it to the particular field that, okay, this is a state. If I change this state to, let's say, zip code, you will find that my map is not working. Why? Because if you see here, there's an unknown thing at its location. It is trying to understand it as a zip code, but Alabama is not coming in my zip code, right? Because zip code would be of something else. So it's very important to define it properly. Okay. So it's very important that you define it properly, right? So you define the your geographical role properly, that okay, this is not, this is a state, okay. You see it is coming properly like this now. Okay. So this is the one thing which basically need to be understand, that okay, you can go here and go to in this map location. You can properly see the data dictionary. You can make it change it for different countries too. So for each country, the Tableau has a very good dictionary of all the latitude, longitude of all the states at a zip code level. Okay, so they have done that kind of analysis, and this is all data is available in your Tableau desktop file. Okay, so this is how you can change your dimensions, okay, and the geographical role is assigned to the particular dimension field. Now when you click here, right click, you see there are a few basic things, that you add a sheet, you show a filter. Okay, we will discuss the filter in detail, so I'm leaving it right now. Duplicate, rename, hide means that you can hide the column, okay. You can create a calculated field, group, set, parameter, and custom date. Okay, this is something which basically we are going to discuss today. And then you have a convert to continuous. We will discuss the difference between continuous and discrete, which is very important. Okay, then change data type, the same thing which you can do from there, which I showed it to you. You can do it likely from here. Okay, you can comment color, shape, date format, right? Group by hierarchy, refresh, reference, and describe. When I click on another field, you see there are more things happening. Okay, so you will find data types, continuous is there, create. You have a bins here. Okay, when you see here, you have a bins, right? But when you click on the date, you will have a custom date. So basically, when you click on a alphabetical stuff, you have a split. This was not there earlier, right? So what happened, and then you don't have any bin and you don't have any custom date. So what happens, these options are not generic. Okay, these options changes based on what kind of field you are clicking on. So it is how the Tableau is a little bit different, that it is not basically, it is so intelligent that it understand, okay, this 10 things can be used only for this kind of particular field, and this 10 can be used for this kind of field. So that kind of thing is basically is required. Now you have this particular uh, dimension. Okay, so I'll just do a little bit briefing today, so that tomorrow we will discuss these two things in more detail with sets and all the stuff. But I'll first talk you about the difference between, so basically dimension we are going to do it today very nicely. Let's say I right click here and go with describe. Okay, what describe does is basically you see the field details, you see the name of the column, you see the remote name of the column, that this is my remote name in database, how to say. When you do a load, it shows you MNS, okay, married and single. Okay, so it loads and show you the data. Now when I click here, we discuss the top five. Okay, we when you do the analysis, I can right now here change it as a married and single. Okay, something like this. Okay, now let's say I put this thing in my report. Okay, you see I have married and single coming up. Okay, but if I clear my aliases, okay, I go here and I clear my aliases and press OK, again it goes back to the same stuff, MNS. Okay, so basically this is the purpose of aliases. Now when I go here and create a group, what group is group, let me do it for a bigger field, okay, where I have a lot of value. Mm, yeah, let's say I have so many information here. Okay, you can see there are so many things are there. Let's say I want to group them together. So let's say all the accounts are basically grouped together to accounts. Okay, all the uh, mm, production control and all those stuffs grouped together to production, right? So right now, see, you are grouping everything. All the quality is gone at group to quality, right? So now I'm grouping these things together. Okay. So now what I'm doing, I'm manually doing these grouping together, right? So, and let's say all everything is added into others. So let's say I group these things into four section manually without any logic. Dinesh feels, so he's adding everything like this. Now he added it together. You see, I created a group and I can add that group here. You can see that kind of information showing it. It okay, all the job titles like that is grouped together and you can see that kind of analysis. Now the problem is that this group cannot be dynamic. Let's say I want to club, uh, if I have a new production field coming up in my data, I have to manually go again, right click here, edit group, and then add that particular field in the production. Okay, so that manually is going to have. So how we can, this is just one time activity you can do, but every time you have to manage. Now instead of this, you have a set. Okay, where set basically talks about condition. Okay, so let's say I again go to job title, right, and create a set. and create a condition, okay, or let's say I have all the things and I just do a condition that uh, job, there's a function here starts with, okay, okay, and let's say I talk about job title and my substring is, let's say, production. So wherever the production starts, okay, I'll just add that particular value. So you see, whenever I did this, automatically this is the set created, right? And now I can go here and see the members. So you see all the members which are there are coming with the name production, right? So now if I want to group anything new come up, automatically it will go and add it into the set. So this is something a dynamic collection of the list of the values, which basically you can keep it. Whereas group is like one time activity when you define and group it together, and later on you have to manually manage it. So the application of both of them are different, okay? But you understand the difference because this is one of the important thing which people ask, like, do you know what is group? Do you know what is set? And how set? And people get confused, like, okay, they both look same, they group it together. No, the set is basically a derived based on logical stuff. Okay, now when let's say I have this set, so I can use it in the filter. Okay, when I put it in the filter, it will just filtering the only for the particular set. Now let's say it gives you one option which basically I am just showing it to you, but when the filters I will more explain that in and out. Okay, so when it gives you an out that okay, I want to see people who are in the set or I want to see people who are out of the set. So when I see that people who are out of the set, I can see I am getting everything but not the production. Okay, so this is how you have this information available. Okay, you can create your set, you can create your group. Okay, then you have a parameter. I'll discuss the parameter later on because this is altogether separate topic itself. Now you have a transform split. You can define and divide your uh, divide your field into multiple sub-columns. Like say I have account and account manager. So basically what I want to do, I can split it, okay, into two columns or three columns based on the space. So when I do a right click and split, automatically it does split into two fields. Okay, so you can see this is my, let me just remove this all stuffs. Okay, so I have these two fields and this is my job title which was the original one. So you see accounts manager divided into account separately, manager separately, right? So you can add more splits, that is your discretion, you can do that, and this is how you can add it more. Now convert to majors, you can convert a job, you can just see what is a major and dimension, okay, before doing all the stuffs. So dimension are the descriptive information, okay. Descriptive does not mean that it has to be alphanumeric, okay, it could be a numeric thing also, which basically describe or giving basically attribute information. For example, name, sex, gender, basically, uh, date of birth, right? Uh, department, employee category, like that. These are like a different dimensions which talks about the attribute. Okay. Now, how many orders have been placed? Like number of orders, number of shipments shared, in number of invoices done. These all are a continuous things, right? These are like 1 to 500, 200 are numbers which basically are used to quantify a particular thing. Then these are like measures, okay? A measure can be aggregated. Let's say sum of the invoices, sum of the order placed. But you can't aggregate a names, like some of the names you can't do. I can't add uh, Ram Sham together, right? I can't add the name of the Ram and Sham. I can do what? What is the salary of Ram and what is the salary of Sham? So like that you can add two measures, right? You can't add or basically aggregate two dimensions, okay? But let's say I convert this gender, okay, or job title into a measure. What it happens? It basically shows number of job titles, right? So let's say I create a sheet here, okay, and I do add a number of job titles, and I can do my uh, gender, something like this. So you see, I can have a, for female I have, let's say, 36 job titles, for male I have 57 job titles. So I can convert this dimension into a measure by applying it count distinct function. You see, it's count distinct function. Similarly, different aggregate function like sum, average, you can do that, okay, but you need to understand the use how you are doing it. One other example, age. Age is a dimensional measure. Age is a dimension. Why? Because age is basically calculated at each row level. So basically each row, which means that for each employee there is a age. Okay. I can't, there is no, but if I am talking about what is my average age of my class, okay, I am considering everything of all the people in the class and divided it by the number of people so that I get the average of the particular class, right? So that is a measure that how you are applied and use the application of the particular field basically is being understood and create a measure. So now these are the two things which basically available for a dimension and measure. Okay. Now this is, I think, altogether we wanted to discuss. Okay, on this part. Now we can do a custom date. Okay, so it is nothing but basically you can create a field, okay, from a date, let's say hire date. You want to create a field which is of years, okay, so you can directly go and you can create a field and I can show you how it looks like. Let's say I have a hire date here, okay, and I go here and right click here exact date, okay, and show it discrete. So I have all these things. Now I add my year. So you see automatically it's showing only the year information. So you can extract a date information which could be year, month, quarter, or combination of year and month and year or quarter, and using right click and custom date. Okay, but you can do all these things through using a calculation too. And I prefer that you write calculation so that you get a command. How you write a calculation? By going into this field, okay, calculate field, and let's say for year also I have function year, and I write here year and do this calculation, okay, and I can save it here, and then I can show this thing here. So what happens that it is right now showing as a dimension measure. So I can add this particular, you can see I'm getting this information here as a dimension. So I'm getting this here for each of the date. So this is something which basically you can calculate too. How you will know about these functions? By reading into all these helps. We will discuss these things in detail tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we will discuss these all things. Okay, about how we are going to connect, about how we are going to do a lot of calculations. Okay, but this I'm showing it to you so that tomorrow, today, if you are trying to work on some of these stuffs, you can at least create and all those stuffs. So then we will change this geographical role, we'll discuss default. So there are options of color, shape, sort. So you want to comment anything, okay, for a particular this, you can write any stuff, okay, what you want to write. When you mouse over you can see that comment there, okay. So this is one thing. Then you can color it, that you can define the male should be color like this, female should be color like this, okay. So then wherever you put the color, color here automatically. It will color on that way. Okay, in all the sheets it will have the same color for the particular stuff. Now shape also, you can define a shape that male should be some showing like this, female should show something like this. Okay, so wherever they put the thing in the shape, okay, you have an option here to select I think shape, right? So you can, as you can see different colors also and the shape also like this. Okay, now you can basically define what kind of size your shape you want to show. Okay, these all things will be repeating, but I'm just making sure that we make sure you can make a number format. Okay, you can define your number format, what kind of number format you are. Let's say year is there, so year is like you don't need any decimals. Okay, so like that you make it, you put 1,000 separator right in the year, you may not require it, right? So you can remove this 1,000 separator there, right? So this is the one small steps. We already discussed uh, replace reference is similarly like I want to replace high reference, okay, with let's say modified date. So all my logics, okay, you can see all the logics has been moved from higher date to the, or from higher date year to the modified date. So all my reports everywhere where higher date year were used, it will replace with the modified date. So this is just a way you can replace your references. Properties we discussed, right? Hierarchy we have not discussed. We will discuss it tomorrow. Okay, and we will do a little bit calculation discrete and continuous, which basically I purposefully is leaving today so that we will not have a lot of things and get confused. Okay, so I suggest uh, everyone to work on these things, okay, which basically we discussed today. Okay, so that tomorrow when we'll discuss, I'll let you know that we will cover all these things which is in the dimension measures, page area, all the things where we are there, and we may work on each of these options which is show at the top. Tomorrow you will get a rough idea about what are the stuffs are there in a very simple way. Okay, then post sessions we'll see how the tomorrow session goes up. Then in the post sessions we will see how to create a dashboards, right? Charts, different dashboard charts, and then we work on proper use cases which basically you can showcase in your resume, like a proper sales dashboard, a proper uh, logical some informations which basically you can add it in your resume so that it will help you on your profiling building also. Okay, so that you will work on the 4 5 proper projects so that it will help you on that. And yeah, so I hope everyone can able to install the Tableau at their end. Okay, work on some samples which basically I discussed. This data and the training which basically material will be shared in some time over the email to you so that you can see that. Okay. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me. Okay. So thank you everyone. Thanks for your time. Okay. We will connect tomorrow. Okay. Have a nice day. Divya,
Thank
you have
you.
something?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.